Okay, let me go live on Instagram as well. So we are connecting live to Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. People will be able to leave comments on the different platforms, or people can go ahead and watch it later. Hey, Jessica, welcoming people who join us and today we are talking to an impacted family who has just landed on their 1 year anniversary of their loved one's death by police. We are talking to Reggie today, and my name's Marissa Barrera. For anybody who's watching or who will watch later, I am the sister of another police homicide victim, Michael Barrera. He was killed in 2017 by the Woodland Police. And today we are talking to another impacted sibling, and his brother was killed 1 year. Well, he was brutally beaten and put into the ICU by Montclair Police Department. Last year, he spent some time in the ICU, and unfortunately, their family had to come to a really heartbreaking decision, and that was to let him pass. And we're going to be talking to his brother today. For any impacted families who join us, go ahead and share your loved one's name down there and let us know that you're here standing with us. And I'm going to go ahead and let our guest, Reggie, Abraham Reggie, introduce himself. Go ahead and introduce your brother, Antonio, as well, and just share a little bit about yourself and your brother.
Hello. First of all, thank you for having me here. Thank you for having me on your platform and sharing this story and this basically what happened to my brother with the Montclair Police Department um, last year around this time. Me and my family were spending days in the Montclair Hospital in the ICU bedside, just praying that he would come back. And unfortunately, that didn't go our way after getting two tests back by the doctor, and then they declared that he was, brain dead. And today marks a year where we had gotten the news, and my mom was deciding that it's time for us to move on and to, like she would like to say, send him to heaven. And basically we had to send a message to my family in Mexico and my family all over the states to basically tell him, like, come see him now, and come say your goodbyes. And basically I just wanted to share his name and his memory that way, and my experience, my family's experience on the injustice that we faced as we were inside the hospital and going through this this the situation, this tragic situation.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for introducing yourself, your brother, and you're touching on part of this that is very important that people really. Sorry, there's going to be a loud noise. My door over here just slammed on me, but it's really important that we share these details with the public and with the other families as well who has went through this because a lot of us relate. I know I saw when your brother was first brutalized by police. I got to see the posts being made and people advocating for your brother. So, and I will say when I first saw it, I have been doing this for over 7 years now, so I can recognize when there's a case that is just bullshit, that it's just horrific, and you could tell that the police fucked up, and it's not okay. So I recognize that quickly with your brother's case. Go ahead and I know it's a really hard day. Everybody, again, just for people who are hopping in, it is the 1 year to the passing of his brother, who, at the hands of Montclair Police Department, Justice4Tony. Anybody coming on, please share this live stream with folks, share it to your page, invite people. We're raising awareness for Justice for Tony today and all victims of police brutality, because every time we talk about one victim, we're advocating for all victims. So let's go ahead and
Yeah,
this part, I'm already
exactly.
getting the chills. It hurts me to think about, but as Reggie mentioned, you guys, they had to come to his mother, came to this decision to let him pass after, I believe, 10 days, right? So
Yeah.
let's talk
So
about the
basically,
treatment from the hospital, the pressure.
yeah. So basically, my mom got the call from the the land the landlord, where basically, where everything happened at his house, in his room, where they basically went in and did everything to him. My mom found out a day after it happened. She had to go find him in the hospital, and they didn't let my mom in the hospital 2 days after. So she was trying to go in, and they were like, "Oh," she's like, "My son is in here. My son Antonio Ibanez is in here," and they were like, "Oh, your son is not ready to be seen," and she had to stay at a nearby, basically a motel, and sleep there. And she went back in the morning, and they still weren't letting her in, and she kind of had to sneak her way in and say she was like, you know, with the cops. And she basically got into the ICU room and seen what happened to my brother, and seeing that like basically that my brother was unconscious. In the beating that took place, and seeing that my brother was unresponsive. And she then sent a text message to me and my other brother saying, "Hey, your brother's in ICU room. Things are pretty bad. Come see him." When I got the message, I was like, "ICU, like ICU room, like what is this?" And the moment I got there, there was a cop. There was a police right there, right on the right side. I still remember walking in and seeing a cop right there, and I see my other brother. He was just quiet. I'm not gonna lie. The moment I walked in, I yelled and I was like, "What the fuck happened?" Like I fucking screamed his name, and I was like, "Yo," I was shaking him, and I was like, "Yo, what the fuck happened?" Like he's like, "This took place. This is what they're saying." And at that point, I kind of realized, all right, there's something I have to do. There's something that has to be done, because there's just a lot of shady stuff going on. Seeing the police in there. And I asked the nurse, I'm like, "Hey, do you know what happened? What took place?" They're like, they're just kind of giving me some shady runaround. We're not allowed to answer any questions. We're not allowed to do this. And I'm like, "Okay, well, she's like, you need to speak to the doctor." I'm like, "Okay, where's the doctor?" She said, "The doctor's not here." And I'm like, "Okay, well, when can I speak to the doctor? I need to speak to the doctor on the phone right now." Um, the doctor spoke to me. He said, "Oh, this is what happened. He came in unresponsive, and he's basically saying that he was already brain dead." And I said, "Okay, I need you to run a second test on him, because I know sometimes doctors get things wrong." So in the meanwhile, as I was waiting to get that second test done, I was waiting. I was waiting for him to notify me the next day. He said he would give me a call. the the whole time before that day happened, um, sorry about that. I'm not sure if you guys are hearing that right now.
You're good.
So basically, he said, "Oh, I'll go there tomorrow in person." He didn't even come in person. The next day when I went in, they ran the test before I was even in there in person. Then he tells my mom over the phone on the speaker, "Hey, your son's been declared brain dead for the second time." And my bad, I'm just gathering my thoughts and everything. So that's how my mom got told, like nobody there, none of the nurses spoke Spanish for them to translate on what happened. I had to be there. And even the moment when the first day we got our first rest, it was on the 8th. The moment I returned back, they had ran the test, and he's like, the doctor was never even there in person after we had spoke. So they declared him brain dead for the second time over the speaker on the phone to my mom. And
That's horrible. And
after that, they were
just the
pressuring us
fact that
to.
your mom had to sneak in.
And after that, the organ donors came in, which made it seem like they were gonna help my mom out, but really they took her to a room and they were pressuring her, hey, you know, you want to donate organs? And then finally they came to me and they were asking me, and I'm like, that's my mom's decision. If she doesn't want to do it, she doesn't want to do it. And she said no. The next day they come back and they just keep on pressuring us until finally we decided, to move on. But the whole time they made it seem like they were there to comfort her. They gave her crackers, apple juice, and all this, taking the blood temperature. And the next thing you know, they asked them, do you want to donate organs? It would be good. It's a good cause. And I was just appalled by what happened. And I spoke to HR and I said, hey, all we need is a couple days, That's all we're asking for, a couple days. We don't want to donate organs. We already made it clear. And yeah, the whole time for like 5 days, the police department was there with different officers, and one of them had the nerve to be watching Netflix while my family was going in one by one and seeing what happened to my brother.
They're callous. I wanted to point out just the fact that your mother had to sneak in there to first, get back there and see your brother is just horrific. As a parent, thinking about that, it should never happen. But this type of behavior and what you're sharing for anybody watching, their impacted family, I guarantee you, they relate with what we're talking about right now. And if they haven't been impacted in this way, uh, understand that this is the norm. This is not just an isolated incident. This is how they normally act. They're very malicious, and they do stuff like this intentionally to families. I do want to talk about. So let's talk about your brother and what led up that day to the police even being called.
Oh, hold on. Say it again. It's being cut off.
Create group to come to the. Sorry about that. So if you don't mind sharing about the day and why the police were even called, and I want to talk about if the police were an appropriate group to come to respond to a situation like this, and then I want you to share what also the very first narrative that your family got about your brothers, about this incident.
I think I have. Hold on. Okay, so according to the police report they made, right? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, according to the police report they made, they said a 911 call, a 911 call was received, and officers were dispatched to a home in Mission Boulevard regarding my brother, just saying that threatening the female victim caller who lived at the same location. The victim was inside her vehicle with her daughters when confronted by the suspect who was believed under the influence of drugs. So basically, that lady who owns the house, she's a family friend of ours, right? She took in my brother. He's been renting a room with her for years. And basically, what she told us is that she called them because she was worried about my brother's situation. He hasn't came out in his room in a day or two. She wanted to call the cops to check up on him, you know, take him to jail, see if he's okay, see what's going on, right? And basically, she allowed them to go in there because she thought they were going to go in there and basically calm him down or take him out, and she didn't know that that was going to happen. And from what I've seen here is that first there was one unit called, and then there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11 units backup called.
Wow.
And what they have them here for is a 415, disturbing the peace. And nobody was hurt. Nobody was hurt. And basically what happened was they went in there and they did that to him. And, you know, a 911 call ended up in a death sentence. And I mean, seriously, how many people do you need, to talk to someone and take them out of their home, instead of them beating them to death and using tasers and, two batons, just like the lady had described to us, because she said, hey, I wanted them to help. I wanted them to take them out, not to do what they did, beat them to death. They basically, they put them in handcuffs. There was about 6 to 8 officers that the lady said. She's saying that there was more that went in there. And the neighbor had said that he was already yelling to stop. And they just kept tasing him. And next thing you know, they're walking him out of the room. They put him in front of the doorstep, and basically he was asking for water, and one of the officers ended up throwing water to his face, and that's when he took his last breath and basically passed out on the side of the steps. And that's what the neighbor had told me, and that's what the lady had told me, the landlord.
So, thank you for sharing that. I know it's hard, to share these details. A couple people have made comments about, welfare check. That's a huge response for welfare check, and that's what it sounds like took place. If she was concerned about your brother's mental health, and this is a victimless crime. There's not really was there even a crime committed? If there, what's disturbing the peace, and for that many officers to respond, it's just ridiculous. And it seemed like they came in there with the intention to harm somebody. The way they busted into your brother's room. And I just want to, for people watching and people who will watch later, like just this is a huge reminder, you guys, for awareness, for mental health awareness. A lot of people are going through it. A lot of people suffer from depression. I know your brother had recently, lost his job that he had been working for many years. And people work a job that long, that's a part of your life. That's a big change. And with the way things are right
Yeah,
now, a lot of
exactly.
people are suffering.
Just because someone falls, what people call into a relapse, a bender, whatever they want to say, doesn't give someone the right to go in there and do what they did, basically take you out of your misery. And that's basically going back to what you said, like this whole mental health wellness. It's what they say, wellness call. Um,
Yeah.
they're not trained properly, right, to go in there and de-escalate a situation.
Yeah, and just a reminder for people watching. This is why we need to be very vocal and to remind our people, talk about this, to not call 911 for help. You know, if you're calling 911 on someone, you got to expect these days that that could result in death or serious injuries. It's never the police never come to a situation and make it better. So if you're calling the cops on someone, never call the cops on your family or your loved ones or someone you would not want to possibly be killed at the hands of police.
Yeah, I mean that's what they're doing. I mean it's in this whole now the San Bernardino department, San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. They're in charge of this case, and as you can see, what's going on with that whole area right now. The whole Justice
Yeah.
8 situation and the whole Ryan, I think his name's Ryan Gardner. It's just yeah, it's an area that definitely needs more attention because seems like those cops in the area are just killing people left and right.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about that real quick. I didn't realize that was the same department, but the teenager Ryan Gaynor, he recently, a 15-year-old child, 15-year-olds are still kids, and was shot and killed by police. And was that what department was that? The San
Um,
Bernardino County.
that
Yeah,
was
it
the
is.
that was
I just
December.
looked
That was
at
the
it.
county. Yeah, that was the sheriff's, the whole county.
Okay. Yeah, and there are other victims that we've covered their stories out of that same county. They get covered up. We know how dirty they are. And let's talk about it with the Justice 8, what's going on out there right now with activists being targeted, and share with us how that has impacted about the Justice 8 and how you guys have been in relation with them through your brother's tragedy, and then also how it's impacted what's going on with them, how it's impacted your advocacy for your brother.
So yeah, what's going on with the whole Justice 8? I got to meet four of them. I got to meet Alex, Eden, and Alvarado. I got to meet him when this happened with my brother. I didn't even know who this guy was. I met him at city council last year. I know that once everything had happened, people were just, spreading the news, making a video on TikTok. Um, I'm not huge on TikTok or anything like that, but I knew that once I seen him at city council, um, he introduced himself. He was like, "Hey, my name is Alex. I'm a huge advocate, activist on social media. This is what I do. Here, how I was personally impacted and how I got into this." He told me that he was jumped, basically beaten by a certain police department, and they were threatening to kill him. And that I'm not sure what police department it is. I think it's Cudahy that he basically had issues with, and basically disband that police department. But going back to how I met him, he introduced himself like that. He led me and my family and friends, who basically we didn't know what to do at the time. We were just like, let's just show up here. They said, this is what we got to do. He let us in. He educated me how to sign up, and basically said, hey, you're going to sign your name. You're going to drop this ballot. You're going to have to speak about what happened, and basically demand. At that time was the body cam, but later on they ended up telling us, like 2 weeks after, that there was no body cam footage. That till this day the Montclair Police Department does not have body cam footage. And basically,
Yeah, thank you.
he helped us. He helped us basically, have a protest right there at City Council, and then he also helped us do a march right there in the neighborhood of where my brother stood at, so everyone can remember what happened and know that this won't go unheard of. And seeing what happened to him and River and Esty and Wendy and the rest is basically like a shell shocker situation, because he motivated me to make all this noise for my brother. Seeing what he has done, he motivated me to go out and voice my concern, voice my opinion, voice my experience on what we went through. And seeing what happened to them is basically like, damn, this could happen to me as well, just by
Yeah.
exposing police who are out there killing, or out there just harassing people left and right.
Yeah. Yeah, and thank you for sharing that. I think it's important to point out that how that group that is being targeted out there, how it's impacting like people out here like us who are impacted already by police homicides. Because I think that's really dope that
Yeah, we
Eden
actually we
gave
actually
you that
had
helping hand, you
we
know?
actually we actually had something planned for this week. Me and Alex were talking just a few hours before his house got raided. We were supposed to get something together for my brother this week, and after that happened, it kind of just backtracked, and then it got me thinking like, man, should I, what should I do now? It's like it's an intimidating situation, and that's what they're doing. I think they call it political persecution. They're basically holding them for the rights, and they're intimidating other people who probably can get motivated by them. And
Yeah.
that's what basically, now we're in a shell shock situation to even try to get something going, because we don't know if this same sheriff's department is going to do the same thing to me or my family. Bring bring us out. Being raided at 4 a.m. just for sharing what happened to my brother
Yeah.
and exposing the cops who did it to him.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's they're trying to set an example for these guys. Helping families like us. We already don't have a huge amount of support. Those of us who've lost loved ones at the hands of police, we don't have a huge support group. So they took away your support group. And I saw some of the actions from watching lives that were held for your brother that you participated in with them there. I didn't know any of them personally. Esty, I had met her years ago through Instagram, and she supported and shared our stuff, and was just supportive. So seeing that go down with people who are really boots on the ground and really there for the victims and ain't gonna step back and be like pushed over, ain't gonna be punked by the cops, it's really fucked up to see. It's hard
Yeah,
to see. And
they were the voice. They were, like you said, the boots on the ground. That's what they were. And it sucks that they were exposing so many departments in the San Bernardino area. And the moment we were speaking about going to the Montclair Police Department, 6 hours,
nope.
his house was raided and everything. It's crazy. And it just lets you know, like, what would have happened if we probably would have done that protest beforehand. Would, you know, the way they're approaching people and
They were making,
going at it on
making
activists in
lots of
that area,
noise.
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's blowing up, making lots of noise, jumping out there. And that kind of activism is exhausting. It's exhausting to be out there and then you're risking your life. And then this is what happens. They really want to scare all of us from being out there like that and standing up for ourselves, practicing our rights and knowing our rights. So we're getting some comments that I want to get to. People are asking about the body cams. They're asking if there are body cams out there. And if not, then what are they telling you in regard to the body cam footage?
So basically, in the beginning, obviously we went to city council. We were demanding the body cam. It took them 2 weeks to and that was thanks to our attorney Christian. They were playing like cat and mouse with him, in the emails. They were like, "You didn't get the date right, so we can't send you this information over." And after he basically went back to his email and corrected it, They then sent a letter to him saying, there's no body cam footage, but we will be providing, I think they call it like an audio bell and like the dash cam footage on the cars. So they don't have body cam footage. The
At all.
police department, who has their own, Montclair Police Department, who has their own mall in their city, the police department doesn't even have body cam footage, which is ridiculous to me. And so yeah, there wasn't. It took them 2 weeks to respond, and they ended up saying that they were going to provide the audio belt recordings.
And nothing yet from that.
They sent it to my attorney. I went over some stuff, but there wasn't really much. The only thing that you can see that you could tell is that they were blocking a lot of houses views. So the way they pulled in with all the units and all the cars is
And
they blocked all the camera views of all the house, basically the rings, like the ring camera. They were blocking a lot of
perfectly blocking it
driveway.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then for people watching, because there's a couple comments, just a reminder that the actual brutalization actually happened inside Tony's. So they busted into his room and did this to this man while he was in his freaking room. So,
What was that? Say it again. Were you asking me a question? Or?
no, I was just pointing out because some of the comments are saying that the dash cam should have caught something, but I was just reminding people that the actual
what it was able to catch was that if they attended him, did they give him the medical attention he needed or not? Because after what I seen was just the ambulance get there and then him being charted on the I think they call it the gurney or I'm not sure what it's called. The stretcher where they put you on.
Yeah. Let's talk about the witness. There was some things going on afterwards, some type of intimidation. Do you want to share about that?
Oh yeah, I mean, so there was when I went around, I basically had to become my own private investigator. I went back and I was asking anyone if they had saw anything. One person was able to come out and tell me her point of view, and she told me basically what she saw, and just hearing her experiencing, she heard the screams, and then she seen from her window that they weren't giving him the proper attention when he had passed out. She's seen when they had given him the water and he was still in handcuffs and they tossed the water to his face.
That's a detail, the water thing, guys. So the way that's a detail where I relate to my family's experience because when my brother was beaten by police as well, I've listened to all the audio and everything. So one thing I caught in his audio, my brother's, and I've learned from a handful of other victims, learning their stories before they're gonna die. I've noticed this more when it's an asphyxiation case. So they could have definitely been choking your brother or whatnot. But I noticed before they die, they end up asking for water. Like I need water after they can't breathe or different things because my brother said those words too and need water. So that's one of the things I heard your story and I'm like, I understand like and for these cops to all be there and not be able to see that or actually they could see that that person's in distress but to not care to ignore their they have a right to intervene against their own officers if people are being treated brutalized and wronged and it comes down to human rights violations
Yeah, I
and they're
mean,
all
it's just
complicit they're all complicit
it's crazy, the way to have that in you, and to basically do that to someone who's, already in handcuffs, helpless, already cooperating, already walking out. The damage is done. The damage has been there. What more? This is one thing I want to point out too. When I did this, when I went over the police report, is that one of the officers has priors, and it was literally a year before this happened that he got hit with being sued for what he did to the other victim. He has priors. His name's Sean Mackey. I
Was
try to
it
look.
another homicide victim?
No. I still need to reach. From what I know, he did. He basically, beat someone else around the same time a year before that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
So he has
Why
prior.
is this guy still out? Why is this guy still patrolling the streets? And look what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then I always, it's just obvious, it's common sense. If they have multiple on paper complaints
From right here,
or
what it says,
killings, like,
responding unit info: Jesse James, Allison Stevens, Christopher Vera, Michael Pena. Yeah, there's about like 15 to 20 names here.
all those cops for one man who had not committed any crimes. That's crazy. And then it's like when people call the police and really need help, where the fuck are they at?
Yeah, exactly. When I seen the police report, it was really vague.
So Reggie, if you don't mind, I want to ask, what was your experience or your opinion on cops before this? Did you know that it was like this? Had you experienced anything, or did you like the cops?
You know what? I've never had a. How can I say this? I guess I can try to share what I've experienced with them before. Right, is what you're asking. Um, I never thought of them like good or bad. I never had like a hate place for them. And what's funny is that my brother, like 10 years before, he would have run-ins with the sheriff's department, but this was at another city, right? Never had an issue. This police department, what the hell, Like, what went wrong? All the other times they would just talk to my brother and let him go. What went wrong here? And what sucks is that there's no body cam. And now, after seeing what we experience, is that there's shady cops out there, and if they do something shady, they're gonna hide it. They're gonna try to sweep it to the side, and hush, nobody, nothing to see here. Once they pull out that yellow line, nothing to see here. And now it's just it just changes my perspective. I don't know if this cop or that cop has done something like this. It sort of gives you like a little bit of PTSD in a way.
Yeah, yeah. That I think all families that we speak to that I've met over the years all experience that. I know even my mom, like if we're out, the kids, like you see a cop, we don't know, is that a killer cop? We don't know if they have bad intentions, you know.
Yeah, and these cops were like 2-3 years. I did some research on Facebook. These guys don't have very
We
many years on them. Hello?
loading. Let's see if it's gonna let us back in. Okay, it shows we're still here.
Well, this is pretty cool. I didn't know this was on everything all at once. I did not know that.
Reggie, are you still there?
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello?
All right, guys, I'll just give it a minute, see if Reggie.
Being a DoorDash driver prescribes. Yeah, he's right. Deadly cops never get removed. Yeah, that's crazy. They just ended up getting stationed somewhere else.
Um, I think we're good again, right? I know we both kind of got disconnected for a second.
Yeah.
All right, I wanted to share real quick. I asked you before we started this about your mom. Is there anything you want to share about your mom? Is there any message that she wanted to pass on? And overall, too, for you, like, what do you want to tell people watching um, when it comes to your brother's case and just what you guys have experienced?
My mom, you know, um, she just wants justice for her son. She just wants, you know, she says it in Spanish. She says she wants justicia para mi hijo. And then she just wants justice. She just wants to make sure that. Oh, that's crazy. My mom's actually calling me
Oh,
right now. I know, right? Crazy. Um, so
yeah.
basic, so basically, yeah, she loved my brother a lot. She had a real close relationship with him, and basically, her message is that she just wants him to be remembered for a good person because of what he did, and the way he went out. Because nobody deserves to go out like that, especially being woken up to in your own room, basically being ambushed, and having your dogs with you. My brother loved dogs. He loved to take care of people's dogs, even if it wasn't his. And what sucks is that he had 3 chihuahuas with him, and I'm pretty sure he was asleep at the time. And being woken up to like at 12:30 a.m. with all these cops just going in your room and just ambushing you is I'd be scared too. I'd be tripping out. I'd be like, what the hell. And basically, yeah, my mom's message is that she wants justice for her son. My message is basically, it sucks. It's kind of like what my uncle said. This could happen to you. This could happen to you. This could happen to anyone. And it sucks that it's a numbers game because it sucks that it might happen to another family, and we've seen it just what happened with you know Ryan Garner. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Um, and if you're ever put in this situation where you might feel like you're too afraid to speak up, speak up, put the message out there, and just exercise your right because that's what we're here for. And just don't be intimidated, And basically, this is an injustice that we experience, firsthand. And to hear and see that other impacted families have faced this similar or the same situation that we went through is it's fucked up and it's sad, because once they messed up, they know they're gonna try to do anything to cover up their asses, and at the end of the day, it's just to them, it's just another family, and at the end of the day, you just gotta you gotta try to make sure that you share the story and make sure that if anyone else goes through this, they're motivated to speak up as well and not silenced.
Yeah. Yeah. And you guys do have an active, you guys filed a federal lawsuit as well?
Right now, from the last time I spoke to the attorney, I believe it was a civil one. I'm not sure if it's at the federal level. Yeah, I'm barely in. It's still been a year, so I'm not sure how it goes. But
Yeah, so a civil lawsuit. Yeah.
yeah. So he has filed that stuff, and I guess we're still in the early phase of all this. But I know
Yeah.
throughout time, the truth will come out, and basically, I just want to share this from time to time to let people know that you know this won't go unheard of, and just keep sharing the experience because they basically it's an injustice. It's an American injustice, and
Absolutely.
from the nurses to the police to the fire department, it was a failure in all departments.
Yeah, that's, one thing I always highlight as well. It wasn't just these killer cops, the handful of cops involved. It was all of them, all of the police who touched it, the investigating department, the district attorney's office. It's all a system, and it's designed to protect themselves and cover up for them. And it's really hard for the families that are going through this because it's not
Yeah,
an
I mean, and
easy thing
also too, I want to give
to
like a
navigate.
message too, if people can help us, call the district attorney's office, and basically demand that the officers who did this be immediately terminated from the position, immediately removed from there. Um, these cops shouldn't be out there patrolling after doing what they did, especially that guy Sean Mackey, who we cannot find a picture of on any type of social media.
Hmm.
You know,
That's sometimes one of the
those
things that's difficult. Like they remove all the
and
photos.
it's a small knit community, so small community, small police department. They, from what I heard from people coming out after we did the press conference, was that that police department, they're always arresting black and brown people for no reason. They're always just quote unquote just fucking with them for no reason.
Yeah. Have you experienced anything from these, you or your family, any type of retaliation for speaking out? I know you mentioned
After
something strange
after
that happened
after
today with involving.
after city council, um we we did go to city council in my girlfriend's car. um I'm not sure if this was them, but a couple days after, she ended up getting a uh basically a passing the stoplight type of ticket. And that was around the same time that the landlord lady
Mm,
told me that the cops were keeping an eye out on her place before she would go to work. So that was somewhat of what we experienced right after city council. Um, from what I experienced some type of different situation. I was trying to stay off social media, but obviously you get people who look at these types of situations from a different point of view. And I did have this one person who seemed like they were helping out, but things started getting a little weird. He started making this whole justice thing about him and making it seem like he knew my brother when really he didn't know. And like, come to find out later that this person was quote unquote homeless, and I just didn't know about this guy. He seemed kind of off to me. I don't know if this guy was an informant or what, but he kept trying to get my address, and I was just trying to let this dude know, like, I just need some space right now. And he just kept on sending me this like Google Maps link and just trying to get my address the whole time. And yeah, that's like the only type of like weird stuff I experienced. And then basically like online stuff, like today, on the police department's page, I was being tagged on the photos of the officers letting me know that they were selling shirts about the police department, which kind of threw me off. And yeah, I've had a fake TikTok made about me, and then I also had my
Yeah.
Twitter profile removed, my ex profile, because I kept on hashtagging and sharing what happened to my brother. And yeah.
Yeah, and thanks for mentioning the man who started seeming strange, who came out as a helping hand, supposedly. It's something I always try to, you know, give families a heads up on. Just, we got to be aware of who we let around us, especially when we're speaking out against the police and have obviously something against them. People like that, it's real. Like informants, people who are sent to disrupt, agent provocateurs, like this stuff is real and it's happening. So it's a good reminder to share with
Yeah,
other
it,
folks
it seemed like
because
he was trying to
sometimes we
get
might
me
have a
to do more
suspicion on
stuff.
people and it might sound crazy.
It seemed like he was trying to get
Yeah,
me
that sounds
to
odd and sending you, yeah. So definitely something to watch out for anybody involved in this type of work. Got to watch out for each
yeah,
other.
I knew that guy was
Not
shady,
us, I
like, right
know.
off the bat. Like that guy was shady. Like he just kept on telling me like, "Oh, you need to do more stuff. Why are you not doing this and that?" And I'm like, "Dude, what the hell? Like, are you related to this person or am I? Like, is that my brother or is it yours?" Like, and
Oh
they just
yeah,
kept on.
yeah,
And yeah, that guy was red flags all around. He even started hanging around the local mall right here and telling me that he was nearby and if he needed my help, he was there.
damn. That's crazy. Yeah, people are leaving comments, thank you guys. Agent provocateurs are everywhere. That's someone else relating. We had Jessica Gutman. She's went through a civil lawsuit against the cop herself, and she's like, wait till court. That's when the creeps really come out. When you actually, getting closer to that process, and keep speaking, never back down. Thank you guys for those who have engaged. We didn't get to read all the comments to let us share the story, but definitely appreciate the engagement. Um, I wanted to. I had one more. I had another question for you, but I can't remember. So, is there anything else that you want to make sure to share, or anything? You said people can reach out to the DA requesting charges and immediate fire. But is there anything else that you want people to know, or how they can help
Um,
support?
basically, I mean, obviously, this is gonna take time, throughout time, but if they can follow the TikTok page because that's where I'm gonna get a group of volunteers to start posting stuff because I have done I've done most of the things on my personal end, and I feel like I need to take a break at times because it kind of takes a toll on you mentally, So like I need to like it seems like I sound selfish,
Yeah,
but I need to like you know remind myself that, I got stuff to do. I can't be, doing this, and like it's crazy. I'm gonna quote Alex on this. I'm gonna quote Alex on this. He says, "Man, I get so many stories and so many situations about vendors being robbed. I can't help everyone at the same time, and that sucks, knowing that so many fucked up cases are happening." And that's basically what, like, you wish you could help out people and be there for them, and it sucks that it's happening to so many families around. Imagine all the families who decided not to speak up, because they were so
A
afraid
lot.
and intimidated. And, that's what I think he said, you know, I'm not a superhero. I'm not a superhero. I'm not a superhuman. I wish I could help everyone, but I can't. And, like
Yeah. I feel you. I feel you on that.
yeah, like, you probably personally went through it. You're trying to do everything at once, and you're just like, damn, like, I think someone told me, like, one of my aunts was like, remember to take a break because you also need to mourn. And I'm not sure if I properly mourned right, That's the fucked up thing. Because I had to do all this and that. And now I'm just like, I'm glad I got a group of volunteers helping me out. It's going to help me take a break, Because you got to take a break, You got to take some me time. And then, yeah, just like some people said, you also got to live for your brother and keep on continuing life for him.
Yeah. 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 We have Ariana Salas. It's hard. She lost her father to police. Um, it's hard to properly mourn when you have to relive and tell the story. And, it is, and we make the choice to retell the story, because we want awareness, but it's difficult.
Yeah, and I I don't want to I don't want to do none of this. Like, I'd rather be, back to my normal life. Like, it sucks that I feel now I understand mental health. Now I understand mental awareness. Now I understand PTSD. Now I understand that stuff because I firsthand experienced it after, throughout this whole time, throughout this year, you see, it's crazy. I work in the film industry. I'm a background actor. Most of the stuff I get booked for because of my look is criminal stuff. I work on CSI before. Now, when I get booked for something and I actually stumbled upon a set like that, I need to step away. I need to step away. I remember my first gig back from all of this after the strike had ended. What was it? It was a cop scene. It was a raid scene. I I was like, man, like, I want to tell the person, like, yo, I can't be here. Like, I just went through this, but I just had to tell myself in my head, this is a TV show. These ain't real cops. And sucks, and that's when I was like, oh damn, what am I experiencing? I think I'm experiencing anxiety. I think I'm experiencing PTSD. And I sat down with the veteran. This dude was a veteran, and I explained to him what happened. A white dude, white veteran. He wasn't a cop. He was an Army veteran, a Marine. And he told me, he's like, dude, but keep doing what you're doing because my cousin was killed by the cops. And they said the same thing that you just told me. They try to say he was crazy and he had a gun. He didn't fucking have a gun. He had a fucking wrench. And for me to sit down and have that experience with him, and he told me, he's like, yo, I go through PTSD too. What you're doing is what you're experiencing in your family is PTSD. And that's what is, it's a mental health message all around,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's real. It's real. Sorry.
it's
Can
okay.
tell again.
If anything,
The
that kind of
grief.
lightens the moment for me, like, so.
But yeah, we had a comment in here. He says, most people know cops from fictional shows. And that brings me to just the reminder of all these shows, the cops, like their image, the propaganda out there that people, them trying to force cops into even, the schools, the kids shows. Sometimes you can't even go to like a grocery store without a sheriff out there patrolling it or something. That's my experience at
Yeah,
least.
like
And
right now, I went to Target and there was like so
um,
many cops, like just for some dude's
yeah,
fucking
I agree with that comment. And
for a
I
signature.
feel
And I'm like, damn.
it's uncomfortable. And if I have to interact with cops, I let them know that they make me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly just don't. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. 'Cause you don't know if one of them just gonna have a trip and just basically have a bad day and just decide to take their bad day out on you. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking arrest this guy because he's acting like a dumbass.
Yeah, yeah. Ariana mentioned a comment, San Bernardino County, and that is the same county that killed her father. By the way, remember I mentioned it earlier. We've covered victims where in that county is her father. That they have these events with our community youth. They keep doing those events, and it's a disgrace. We see that in my hometown as well, all over. Cops with kids. I know a killer cop in my hometown who they keep. He stays doing stuff with the kids. So I have like all these screenshots. Every time I see it, I'm like, okay, killer cop with kids. Like it seems to be a common thing. After cops kill not all cops, but I've seen a bunch now where afterwards they have to be a school resource officer, um, sort of like their punishment to not be patrolling the streets. They got to go work with kids. So thanks for that comment, Ariana, because it's important. That's one of the reasons why I homeschool. We're not going to be around cops, not my
You
kids,
mentioned you
not
mentioned
building them.
something someone else went through what on the comments. What was it? Someone went through a similar
She
San Bernardino.
mentioned how, uh, yeah, her dad was killed out there. And she mentioned how they keep doing stuff with the cops and the youth. It's just sick when we keep seeing that these people trying to portray themselves a certain way. Valentina, thanks for joining. Mentioning they have the best PR campaigns. They definitely do. They get lots of support from people.
What happened? Hold on, hold on.
Okay, we got another comment, guys. It's difficult to see cops at my kids' schools handing out badge stickers. Yeah, I'm sorry you have to see that. If some people who follow me probably saw my page, my video when I shared my story about when a cop tried to give my kid a sticker. We don't f with cops in our household.
Oh yeah, I remember you sharing that with me as well. Yeah, like yeah, exactly.
Nah.
It's crazy because like I said, I work in the film industry. That's my that's my number one thing I do. I'm and then because of my look, I mostly get those stuff, and now it's like, do I have to turn this thing down? Because it's just a whole PTSD situation. And like I may like it's gonna be a hard choice in the future. Am I gonna have to turn gigs down because hey Abraham, we need a scene where we're arresting you, and then you're basically a
Yes.
person But I mean,
That's rough.
man, and one thing I do want to share about my brother, like a good moment, like my brother was a cool dude. Just because a person falls into a relapse doesn't give you the right to kill the man. Like beat him to death. Like if like many people who would tell you, like my brother helped people set up TV. Like I'm not sure. There's an image. My brother talked to cops. He talked to fucking firemen. If he was parked nearby, he'd be like, "Hey, yo, what's up? What are you doing here?" Like this dude was not afraid of cops. He didn't have that. He didn't have that hate for them. And for law enforcement to take him out when he supported them, what the fuck, Like,
Yeah.
I wish I could pull up. I wish I could pull up the photo of him on top of the CHP. My brother worked for Caltrans. Caltrans works with California Highway Patrol when they have to do those cleanup things. Like, what the hell? Like, so it just tells you, like, most of these police departments and these policemen, they're not trained properly. What if it was the fire department that went in? Could it gone different? Who knows? Why?
And we got a comment. A good comment. I feel like this is a good comment, and I think a lot of people could relate that good people have bad days. Good people have bad days. I would like to say, because I always say this, if they have a drug addiction, if there's a mental health issue, if they have a physical or mental disability, like they should, the cops are supposed to treat them with more care. They are more fragile, they are more vulnerable people in our community. So them having a mental health crisis or being depressed, people wanting to self-harm, that does not give them a pass. Like that's supposed, they're supposed to take those people and be more gentle with them, understanding that there are underlying issues. They're trained for this shit. They know better. So when things like this happen, it's like that's not an accident. You didn't accidentally beat this man into a fucking coma, into the ICU. That's not an accident. So um, it's just hurtful to continue to see this so many years. I mean, for me, it's been 7, but I know families that are already at 20 years. So like, how long
Yeah,
is this
I
going to
mean,
continue?
it's continuing still, as we can see. I mean, it's just it's a sad reality that we have to live in, and they're out there, you know. I hope this guy, you know, I hope this guy hears my brother every night before he falls asleep, because we lost sleep, the first couple of months. I lost sleep. I had my first anxiety attack. My mom had to go to the hospital. Now she's going to the doctor. My mom lost weight. I started losing track of eating just to make sure she was eating. You lose track of other stuff, and
Yeah.
you just you look at that image. You take a couple of days off social media, and then you see the picture of him in the ICU, and you're like, that's the last memory they left my mom and my family with. And like we, my mom didn't deserve that. Like my mom, it sucks. Hearing your mom cry and knowing that the police are in the same room. Like you just want to do so much stuff, and I had to hold my emotions in and basically keep myself together. And now it's just basically keep spreading the word until even after I still want to help people out, just like you're helping people out. I want to make sure people in my community um, are aware that they can reach out to someone for a resource when a situation
Yeah.
like this happens, because it sucks. It's gonna happen, and I hate to say it. I hate to say it. I wish I wish nobody ever goes through this, and it's a domino
Yeah.
effect.
Yeah, and it really, tears apart just that one victim. It tears apart a whole community when they do this. Like so many people are harmed, and we lose trust, we lose our safety, our security that we may have experienced before, and our happiness in different ways. So, um, I think it's great that you're, still talking, still honoring your brother, even though this is a hard place to be. It's not fun, like you said earlier. We don't,
Yeah, I
really
mean, it's
choose to be here.
there, there's just so many stuff that happened that it's like now that I keep on talking about it, it's just coming back, you know. Um, from then changing the staff in the hospital to them giving us a couple extra days after having our attorney go in there, after having the press conference in front of the hospital, they all changed their actions. Oh, you know, the I really don't like to, hit on these type of, topics or terms, but after the press conference, the nurses and the whole staff in there, they changed them to all people of color,
Mm-hmm.
which threw me off. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what? What is this? Trying to make it seem like, okay, now you guys are making changes. I try to get him transferred to another hospital, and I made sure that they had all that paperwork ready for me to see because I was not taking their word. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like how are you gonna take a doctor serious if he's telling you, hey, your brother's brain dead over the phone on the speaker?
Yeah. Um, Yeah, so it's those kind of details some people might not completely understand, but I get it. Like it's like trying to kind of show you that they're trustworthy now. Or I want to point out that your mom, speaking Spanish, families who do not speak English as their first language or don't know English at all have a very difficult time, even harder than regular families through this because they take advantage of that. And they'll try to play us like we're dumb and we don't know better, like we're just not gonna try. So that press conference and that you guys were showing up and asking questions, guarantee that helped a lot. So that's why I always tell families, like, even if it doesn't seem like you're getting progress, keep fucking speaking out, keep being loud, keep stomping your feet, because they don't want to hear it. They want you just to go away, but we can't do that.
Yeah, they were when the press conference was getting set up, and when Christian, our attorney, went in there, they like after that happened, they were looking at me like, watch out for this guy, or like, what, be attentive to it, like. And I wasn't trying to be
Your
like, oh,
problem.
I wasn't trying to be like, oh, you guys need to, but it was just like they were trying to like treat us like second class citizens, and treat my one of the nurses was like, I'm pretty sure she read the medical report what happened after that. She was like, and this is why I don't really look at the black blue flag the same way, because this is always going to change my perspective on it and all the people who support it. But the nurse, I remember her, white nurse, the one who didn't want to tell me anything in the beginning, she was removed, right? She probably got removed. She probably got moved to another department, but she was the same one who didn't want to answer any questions, right? And she probably can't. But she was the same one who just didn't want to answer or try to translate to my mom what was happening, right? And long story short, she had that that thin blue line flag on her car when I was passing by the
Hmm.
parking lot to leave, and she kind of like looked at me like if I was gonna say something to her, but I was just like, I'm just gonna swallow my pride and just walk away. But I know when I made eye contact with her, she was like, and who knows if she has a relationship with
That's what
one
I
of
was
the.
thinking. She probably going home and sleeping with the cop. Her husband
That's
probably
what
a
I'm
cop.
saying. Like she knowing
That's
how,
scary too.
like just seeing all that happen, I'm just like, damn, like it to me, I know this seems weird and it seems out of line, but to me it was like, man, do you guys got like some like cult going on here where you guys are secretly working with the cops? And that just opened my eyes to other things. I'm like, wow, what if the fire department, the police department, and the hospitals are some way working with each other, just to cover up
Oh,
their asses.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I did a webinar one time a couple years ago, covering the all these entities that are complicit, and that includes medical professionals involved, and a lot of them, they help, or they contribute, or they turn a blind eye, and
Yeah,
they're just as guilty.
for all we know, the cop was like, make sure this guy doesn't come out alive because I don't want him to speak up on what happened. And I mean, who knows? Like, but definitely that was something fishy to keep an eye on,
Yeah,
and it threw me.
it's definitely a scary thing when we have to worry about our medical professionals being tainted in this way. And medical professionals, I mean, they already have a history of racial practices, within itself. Like uh, there's a lot with these hospitals as well. You mentioned hospitals. We could also throw in mental health facilities. Like they work with cops regularly, and um, they help cover for each other. I've done a lot of interviews with families and discussions like this, and
Yeah,
medical
we have this
professionals
right
are
here.
always in part of it. Yeah,
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 one thing, yeah, as you can see right here, he, one thing I want to share is that, my brother, he went like, he changed his life around. I'm not a religious person, but there's one thing I can definitely advocate on is that, he changed his life around. He went like 12 years sober. He started going to church. He started singing. He learned the piano, which threw me off, and yeah, every Sunday he was in there, singing like and just knowing that they took that type of spirit out of us, that family spirit. There's always that one person who's always the loud one in the
yeah,
family and the energy, and that's who he was.
yeah. It seems to be that way when we talk about our loved ones. It's a huge piece of the family, and I know holidays, birthdays, just even being around parents isn't the same because you're missing I mean, for our case,
Yeah,
a sibling. That's a
that's
huge
crazy.
piece
That's
of your
crazy when
life.
you mentioned that. My mom doesn't. My cousin just had his wedding in Mexico, right? Everybody was there. The only person who didn't attend was my mom because she didn't want to be there without him because they were speaking about being there, you know. And my cousin too, he said that, hey man, your brother was supposed to be here at this wedding with me, and you know, it's kind of hard to attend these events, just like you said. It's like there's a bunch of stuff that I get
Yeah,
invited to, and every now and then, you just still try to continue life, and you're just like, man, like there's still something missing.
yeah.
Hello, I think your mic is off. Oh, there we go.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say we could go ahead and start to close this up, but I want to give you opportunity to maybe share some final words, and also I just want to thank everybody who came on and engaged with us. You guys, make sure you guys share this. This will still be on our Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. So help us spread awareness. Also on our Instagram, Voices of Strength, we have a post up for Antonio today too. So you guys can help raise awareness by sharing that, hashtagging Justice4Tony. And then,
Yeah,
thank you for coming on and sharing. It's a lot. It's a lot to repeat these details.
yeah. It's I think you're the first one who told me when I had reached out to a lot of people. You were like, "Hey, watch out," when you do these types of stuff because it's like I mentioned, PTSD. You relive a moment and it triggers something in your head and your emotions, and you just start. You're like, "What the fuck is happening?" Like I'm not 60 years old. I'm not 65 years. Why am I having this fucking panic attack? You know, because that's what
Been there.
emotion is, and it triggers that response. And it's like you said, yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard. And I think one thing that I want to say is that I think I keep referring back to it that I'm gonna post most of the stuff on the if people can. This is the way people can still help us out in some way because I might take like a break, and the volunteers are gonna. So basically, the Justice4Tony TikTok, if everyone can go there and just follow that page because that's mostly where I'm gonna be posting the stuff from now on, as I try to keep things separate because you mention it, you're scrolling down on Instagram and you're seeing like this department is fucking hiring. I don't want to see this shit, like this person, like no, it's too much. Like so, if people want to go on there, they can help us out right there. You can watch videos. That's where you stay updated. That's what keep the up to date information. And there is this video that basically shows different ways how to help us. Um, it's the last one where it has the DA's information towards the end. Let me see if I can stop it. Towards the end, it has the city council. Well, it was the city council's info, but now I think I'm gonna update it with the DA, the district attorney, Jason Anderson, who
Okay.
was the one who made the arrest on the Justice 8. So, you know, as a community, we're all tied to this together.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots
So
going
yeah,
on. And then with,
it's Justice for Tony. It's with two Y's, and it has this picture right here.
okay.
And like I
Awesome.
said, I'm gonna post most of the stuff on there, and the volunteers are gonna help me out. You know, posting stuff, and so yeah, so we'll be making a video soon, maybe in like a day or two on the information, different ways they can help out online. Because I know a lot of people are busy with their lives. A lot of people, work. So just stay tuned for that. And
Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So,
oh yeah, I
again, you
just want
guys
to say
can
one more
stay
thing.
updated.
So
Okay.
if they can go to the Montclair Police Department's Facebook page, you know, hashtag Justice for Tony. We will never forget. If they can do that, I'm also gonna make a video and post about because they're mostly active on Facebook, like, and most of their commute, like most of the people who live local there, follow them and they're praising them. Oh, this is a hero and this
Oh,
and
they
that.
love
So
them.
yeah,
Mm.
so
Okay.
if they can help me like that, and
Okay.
then that'll be it. And justice for Tony, justice for my brother, justice for all impacted families, and thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And just helping. I'm happy to help raise awareness for your brother. So, anything you put up, you can always tag us or send it to me. Again, you guys on TikTok, Justice for Tony with two Y's at the end. That's how you guys can stay updated. And there's information. There will be more information there for how you guys can continue to
Yeah, I'll send
support.
I'll send you some stuff too, so you can share on your stories as well.
Okay. Okay. Okay, sounds good. And you guys, just a reminder, always never bringing the cops into family situations. A mental health crisis should never end in a shooting or killing of a human being at the hands of police. And we're here to raise awareness for Tony today, Antonio, and all victims of police brutality, including my brother, Big Mike. Anything
Yeah,
else you want to say, and then we'll close it up.
that's pretty much it. Like I just said, justice for all the impacted families, justice for your brother Mike, justice for my brother Tony, and just we just got to keep continuing and using our voice for strength.
Yeah. Yes. And thank you again for coming on and sharing with me, talking about it. I know these are difficult, but it's how we can continue to raise awareness and try to prevent this from happening for other families along the way. So justice for Tony, and thank you everybody who has joined us. We appreciate the comments and the engagement. You guys are awesome. Make sure to share this video to help us raise awareness. And bye, everybody. Take care.
All right, thank you.